All right. Walther PDP Pro SD Compact 4.6-inch threaded barrel in the tungsten gray frame. As you can see, that's empty. For anybody out there that's wondering, I do clear these and check them prior to getting on here to video. Will say, for those who are on the fence about picking up a PDP, one thing you will fall in love with, whether you go to the gun store to dry fire, you check one of your buddies' Walthers out, whatever the case is, this trigger you will fall in love with immediately. I just want to show you from the get-go, finger completely off, you hit that wall immediately. There's just a little bit of travel there. Boom. That's it. So now I'm gonna let that reset. You're right on the wall again. That's it. First time I picked this up, I could not believe how phenomenal that trigger was. And my wife's PDP F is the same way. The only thing the Pro model really gives you, other than the magwell, the threaded barrel, of course, is the flat face trigger right here and a polished trigger bar. That's going to be your real only differences. It's not a lighter trigger. The Pro models are still just as reliable and bomb-proof as the other Walther PDPs, your compacts, full-size, mid-size, the F models. Now, the F model does take different parts than any of the others. I don't think a lot of these parts would be interchangeable with my wife's. I can use my mags out of this one. Now, one other difference. Your PDP Pro mags are going to come from the factory, 18 rounds with a base plate. These are very, very good magazines. I want to say these are Metcar. Could be wrong there, but mine are stamped made in Italy, and if you live in a free state, they'll be 18 rounders. If you do not, 10 round limits on everything, I guess. But I have absolutely loved this since I picked it up. It's a little bulky for concealed carry. Those of you who are wanting to pick one of these up for concealed carry, I'd suggest dropping the magwell on it. That does stick out a little bit. It does make it a little bit more obvious, but during the winter time, you got thick clothing, jackets, stuff like that. This is perfect. This is not bad at all. I would recommend wearing an undershirt, as these grips, you will start to feel that after a little bit, but it's nothing unmanageable. It's not super uncomfortable. Now, I've only gotten about 200 to 300 rounds through mine. I've not had any malfunctions that were the gun's fault. I started on Glocks when I started shooting, and trained on Glocks to the point where it was just second nature, I guess, for me. So my natural grip with a Glock made me, how do I want to do this? Made me hold the slide stop, slide release down so that when the firearm emptied its mag and recycled that last round, and the slide was supposed to stay open on an empty chamber and empty mag, it was not. I was keeping that slide release from doing its job. So I did have to adjust my grip a little bit to use this as effectively as possible. Keep the slide open whenever I'd actually empty a mag, but, take 100 rounds to the range, practice, just changing your grip ever so slightly if you need to. Some of you may not have this issue out of the gate, and that's awesome. I did, so sharing my experience. But I was able to fix that within 100 rounds. Now, it's not an issue. I have the utmost confidence in carrying this whenever I do carry this in place of my Glock, and no problems whatsoever. None. I would like to take this to the range a little more often. Whenever I make it to 1,000 rounds, I'll probably post an update video to this to share with you guys, but so far it's been great. The Delta Point TLR7A, Delta Point's a new one. I usually stick to the RMR, as you can see in some of my other videos for my handguns, or anything Trijicon. I think I'm using a SRO on a Scalarworks mount for my MCX, but which is usually a pistol optic. I do not have it on one. So swapping to something different like the Leopold, for a long time there, your main options, if you wanted a pistol optic, were the Doctor sight, the Delta Point, and the Trijicon RMR. At least that's all you would see most of the time. Still unsure about this. I want to get some more rounds on it. Unsure about the Delta Point. PDP, awesome, great to go. There's a ton of reviews already out there about this gun that speak volumes about it. Its accuracy being one of them. Besides that awesome trigger. But takes down much the same way a Glock does. Pull the slide back just a hair. You pull the slide back just a hair. Pull these tabs down on the side, and the slide pops right off, just as a Glock would. You do get 2 different recoil springs straight from the factory. I left the one that came in it in, as it is done perfectly fine by me. I do not like changing the internals of guns that I plan on carrying, but it is done great. I know a lot of people change these out for tungsten guide rods. Yeah, I have left the factory one in until it gives me issues or something comes out from Walther about there being issues. I believe I'm going to leave this as is from the factory and just continue to see how it performs. Now, maybe once I hit that 1,000 round mark, I'll make some changes to this. I do know that the PDP slides can take Glock iron sights. Now that is something that I'll probably change out just so I have a co-witness available. That is something I like to do for most of my carry guns, of guns in general. I like having backup irons, an ability to be able to aim besides the electronic jump. Everything is prone to failure to a certain extent, a certain amount of torture. Having a backup available is always a good thing. But this is my Walther PDP, how I have it set up, my thoughts on it, and I believe that's a wrap. Probably make another one of these videos whenever I get to about the 1,000 round mark. But if you check this out, enjoyed it, consider liking, subscribing, all the other YouTube buttons, whatever they may be. And I will see you guys in the next one. Appreciate it.